Well, music is, a lot of people like to say, a language that unites us all. It's something that a lot of us listen to on a daily basis. And me and the couple people that I have here love music just about as much as anyone you could possibly meet. So in this video, we're going to be going over a lot of different things, what music means to us, what music means to the world, all the different interesting things associated with music. And at the end, we're going to be going over our top 5 albums, each of us, which totally won't be controversial and totally won't have people battling it out in the comment section. But welcome back to The Flip Side, and I have Gwen to my right and Morgan to her right. I know left and right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on my right. So yeah, we're going to be talking about music today. And Morgan specifically, I have to say, there's a game that we play where we have like cards with a QR code. You scan the QR code and you have to name the song, and then you also have to guess between a certain like time period when that song came out. And Morgan knows every single one, even if it's not hers.
Yeah.
And she can like draw
and some
back.
of us could have like never heard it before, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, this was released in 1939."
Yeah, she knows the exact time. She knows which album it's from. Like all of these like 1910s artists, all the way up to like a song that came out yesterday. She knows about like the underground music, all the different stuff. So she's kind of our resident music expert.
Yep.
But all three of us love music. I was in band in high school, played music. I've listened to music my whole life. Gwen loves music as well.
And I love music.
Music is a universal language, and we all speak it in different ways. So in this video, we're kind of going to be just talking about all the different aspects of music. And I think we can kind of all just start with talking about what music means to us specifically, because it can mean a lot of different things. You know, for me specifically, I feel like I can go to music in any kind of way that I want to, which I love about it. I love how versatile it is, because like I can be in the car listening to a song that doesn't really mean that much to me personally, but it's just a song I can rock out to. It's a song that I can know the lyrics to and listen to, but then also a song in the exact same album can make me like really like hit me in my feels and make me feel exactly the way I want to in a certain moment. Can help me when I'm sad, help me when I'm angry or depressed, or pretty much anything in my life. So I really appreciate that music can be interpreted whatever way I want to. And I think the variety of albums I'll be talking about in this video and the other things we're going to be talking about kind of show that. But I'll bring it to you, Gwen. What does music make you feel? What does it make you think of in general?
Yeah, I mean, very similar to what you were saying. I think that even from day to day, like one song can make you feel differently depending on what's going on in your life. And meanings change all the time. And I think that's why, you know, some songs that are just nostalgic for you that can really shape who you are as a person. I personally find that they feel like I bring a lot of comfort to me, and I feel less alone a lot of times when I'm listening to music. And it's either empowering or comforting me when I'm sad, or just like fun. I feel like I constantly need to have music in the background just because it shapes my day.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Morgan?
I feel like kind of the same as you two have said. Music has always been a safe space for me. Growing up, I don't remember a time my mom or dad did not have music on, especially like in the kitchen. My mom had baked and cooked a lot, and I mean, she probably has over 250 CDs that she's collected
awesome.
since like the 80s. And we would always like pick out a CD on the weekend. It was usually like Shania Twain, the Dixie Chicks, or the Shadaisies, or Sarah Evans. And music just has always been something safe for me. There's a quote by Taylor Swift that says, you know, people haven't always been there for me, but music has. And I wholeheartedly like relate to that, because I'm not the best at like making conversations with people or knowing what to say, and I feel like music speaks for me. So whenever I like don't know what to say, I can like find a song for how I'm feeling and be like, here, listen to this song, because this is like exactly how I'm feeling. So whenever I'm like in an argument with someone, like I usually like will find a song that like depicts what I'm feeling and be like, listen to it. It has everything in there that like is what I want to say, but I can't say it. So
well, and I love doing that too. This sounds so stupid, but like for like Instagram posts, I love just pulling song lyrics, because it tells so much more than like what I have to say, and it's like everyone can understand the feeling that those lyrics bring.
And I think like all of my like bios for like Instagram, Facebook is like a lyric of some sort, just because like I feel like I don't have the words to like say how I'm feeling or
Yeah.
like what I'm going through, and I'm like, music will just do it. It'll do it for me. It'll do the talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like that you were talking about how music can change for even individuals. Like, I love that a song that I listened to at 18 could mean completely different to me than now. And that's why I think a lot of people will talk about how, like, why would you get a tattoo of a song lyric if it's going to change for you? But I really like that, because I feel like you look back at it and say, this is like a mark of how I felt listening to this at that time in my life. And that's what I think, not to bring tattoos into it, that's the last video, which if you haven't watched that, I got my first tattoo, and so I talk about that in the last one. Going back to the versatility of music, I like, not only do songs mean different things to me, but also the exact same song can mean different things to different people.
Oh, for sure.
Which is, I want to go into the next part here, which is talking kind of about live music and concerts, because that's what I love so much about it. It's not always exactly the same sound quality you listen to in speakers or in your headphones, but like, you're in this environment where you hear like 60,000 or more people all singing along to the same song.
I love that feeling.
And you look
so
out
magical.
and you're just like, this person could be going through something right now. This person could just be enjoying themselves. This person could be at their first concert.
And you
for
know
this
that
band.
like most of them are coming from not all the same place and like not all the same home situation, and like that music brought all like tens and thousands of people to this one space to connect at the same time.
And,
is
like,
so
people
cool.
traveling from different states and different
countries,
even, you know,
Yeah.
so that they can see this artist, and I just
Yeah.
think that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Are there any types of music? I know this is definitely true for you, Morgan. Are there any types of music that are kind of more niche, kind of more random, that you just kind of like for reasons that you don't really understand? Because like, one thing that I know I like is Irish folk music, strangely. And there's a band I really like called the High Kings. They do a lot of really great Irish folk music covers and other kinds of songs. It's just certain things hit a certain ear a certain way. And also, like, it's important to remember, like, mainstream music is mainstream because it's probably the least objectionable, but it doesn't make it the best kind of music. So are there any kinds of niche music that anyone likes to listen to that they want to talk about?
I mean, I feel like I can't think of anything like outside of like Irish folk music or like some like indie synth music. But like one thing that I think is interesting of like trends in music. So like I have been really into like 90s dance club music right now.
Yeah.
But like obviously that's not as popular right now. Like that's probably gonna be more annoying if someone released that. But I've been super into it right now.
Oh, for me,
Everything. Literally everything.
I listen to everything, and I'm not like I know there's people out there that are like, I listen to everything but like country, or I listen to everything
Doesn't
but
count.
you know, and I'm like, that does not count. Like, you don't listen to everything. And so when I say I listen to everything from like swing band from like the 1930s to like heavy metal of today. And I would say like one of my bigger niche genres that I listen to is like old country, but like specifically from like the 1930s to the 1960s. Like, you know, you have Hank Williams who like yodels, and I love yodeling music. I just think that's so neat. And I'll put on like music from like the 1950s at like a bar. Like, I'll put it on a jukebox, and people will literally walk out. Like, they will leave. Like, I've had that. Like, there's this one song called Big Balls in Cowtown. And it is like just a very,
I think I'd leave too.
It's just a very absurd song from like the 1940s. And I really don't have like, why do I love it? I don't know. I just do. Kind of what Connor was saying about how it just like hits your ear, right? I mean, my dad listened to a lot of old country when I was growing up. Like, that's strictly all he listened to in his truck was like old country. And I remember like detesting it. Like, I was like, Dad, this is awful. Like, I'm way too cool to be listening to this. And like a few years later, it just like clicked. And I was like, actually, this is like genius. Like, I love this music. And same, like, I've really gotten into like Mongolian throat singing. Like, I just think that's so cool.
It is really cool.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that they can make music with their throats. And I also have really Irish music. I love Irish music. Anything Irish, I am obsessed with. And I also listen to a lot of like Italian, Spanish music. You know, like, I don't.
It's so good.
Music is so universal, and you don't have
because
to listen.
like you don't need to know the words.
You don't
need to even like some rap songs.
Yes.
Like some of the words that like once you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh, like that's kind of questionable.
Yeah.
But like I love like the beat to it and
yes.
like Italian music, you're just like the feeling of it
Yes,
and
there's
like all
so
of that.
much that goes into like making a song or making a production. And I just think it's so cool. Like you don't have to speak a certain language to
to feel connected
right,
and
exactly.
to be moved
Yeah.
by music. Yeah.
Absolutely. I also kind of like going back to kind of the versatility of music. I like that there are some ways where it's really cool to have a like very highly produced song, have a bunch of things going on, but also like, you know, going back to kind of the older kind of music. Obviously, not all old music is simple. You know, you listen to like Styx or Rush and you're like,
Yeah.
this is so intricate. But like, I do really like that when you have a good song with a good artist, a good singer, and like either a good message or just a good vibe in general, you don't need all that stuff going on. And that's what I think is important to recognize about how some people will just say, I don't like old music because there's like a better version of it out there today. But sometimes it's the classic nature of it that makes it so homey, makes it feel so good to listen to, and I think that's something interesting.
And what I would like to say to that is like, especially for people who like detest country music, which I get it, like a lot of today's music is about like trucks, beers, you know, like I love to fish. But what I want to say is like every genre, there is something for you. You just have to dig.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, so today's country music isn't for you. Go back to like when they were singing about like, you know, heartbreak or spending time in prison back in like the 40s and 50s. You know, same with like pop music, like heavy metal. You have to dig. And I feel like so many people like they'll listen to like one or two songs and be like, okay, I'm done. This isn't for me. And I'm like,
and the radio isn't like always like the best representation of an artist or an album or a genre in general. Like so many people I think hate Taylor Swift in general because of the songs that play on the radio and aren't listening to the best songwriting songs that she has.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. Shake It Off. You know, that's like her biggest
If I hear
song,
Cruel Summer one more time, like, I get it.
Right,
I'm with you.
You know?
I was going to say, there was a period in time where I didn't like Taylor Swift because when I was interning with a baseball team, and on the radio that summer was Willow. And to this day, I can't stand Willow just because I heard it so much.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's a thing. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think, honestly, sometimes the songs that are on the radio are some of my least favorite versions of the songs. And like on some of
Bluetooth is a lifesaver.
Yeah. Spotify, Apple Music, get it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Save your life. And we each have a couple of greatest hits albums on our list, but I also think there's plenty of greatest hits albums where I'm like, these songs aren't in my top 5 or 10 for these artists. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let's move on here to talk about just kind of, I don't know if any of you know any specific stories of this or anything, but talking about kind of both the healing properties of music and also what music can do mentally, just kind of like on a more, I don't want to say medical standpoint, but like just one thing I think about specifically when I think about this is there was a kid on America's Got Talent a few years ago named Cody Lee. And he was, I don't know all the medical terms, but he was autistic and not nonverbal, but couldn't communicate very well, was blind and had a lot of cognitive problems. And then he just went to the piano and put together this like perfect rendition of it's called A Song for You by Donny Hathaway. And it was just like, it's crazy how just his mind just opened up and he was just like, it's crazy how many times you see those stories of someone who, even like someone who is blind, can figure out how to play the keys when they've never even seen what the keys look like. People with mental disabilities and cognitive disabilities, people who like have kind of lost the ability to speak in one way or another can like somehow regain their understanding through music. You hear about, you know, older people with dementia and Alzheimer's hearing a song from the 30s and just remembering for that period of time. So like, I just really think that's a cool area of music that is really special.
Well, I think it definitely unlocks certain parts of our brain. Like, and they have music therapy and like, that's a whole profession and it totally is real. And like you said, can bring back memories and bring people into that. I've also heard of like people like coming out of comas because of music and it just totally like unlocks certain parts of our brain. And I honestly kind of loved how in Stranger Things they used that to be like, you can pull yourself out of any situation, like
Yeah.
with the music that you love. And I
absolutely.
think that totally pulls on the effects that music has on you emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, especially for older adults who have dementia, so my grandpa had Lewy body dementia, and towards the end of his life, you know, he didn't really remember most of us, but what he did remember was his country music. So we had a music therapist that came in once a week before he had passed, and I play guitar, so me and this music therapist would play guitar and we would play Johnny Cash songs to him. And he, I mean, you could hear him like under his breath, like singing along, you know, and he like knew every single line to the Johnny Cash song. And like he had squeezed my hand and was, you know, like crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, like my grandpa may not know who I am anymore, but like we're having this, you know, moment of connection. And so that was like my biggest inspiration of like, I wanted to be a music therapist, but I decided like music theory, not my jam, you know, and like there's a whole lot of math that goes into being like a music therapist. And I just was like, but music therapy, I think, is like one of the greatest things that has ever been created. And even like I run an older adult support group at the ADRC, and like we do music trivia sometimes, and just like the way the residents like light up over that, you know, like they talk about like music or, you know, like, oh, I was a big Elvis Presley fan, you know, and it's like, I just think music it has such healing properties. I mean, even like I struggle a lot with anxiety, and like just finding a song, like, especially you know, like
it totally
Taylor
brings
Swift,
you back into
like she like is my girl, and you know, I'm like, okay, just put her on, and it brings me back to a level of calm. And I think that's just wonderful.
And that's why I use music a lot, like to sleep as well, because I can't, in like silence, my brain just starts moving and everything. Like music can like just soothe me into a place of like not thinking sometimes. Also, like with the elderly, going back to like babies learn like from music and everything, and like it just, a life without music stunts everything.
Yeah absolutely. I think the exact same way. I know there's a video I played at the end of my video talking about my tattoo. Maybe I'll put it in here again. I played I think it's called All of Me. It's a Louis Armstrong song. I played that on my saxophone for my grandpa's 90th birthday, and that was only a few months before he passed away. And you can kind of just like see it in his eyes, like he's remembering the song. He's remembering like the times throughout his life he was listening to that. And he also loved classical music, so like even when he was on a ventilator, he was like, we were playing that music for him 24/7. I also wanted to ask, if they're going back to what you're talking about, is there any one specific song that's kind of your go-to when you're like kind of on the verge of freaking out, having an anxiety attack? Like, is there a song that like centers you? Because like one for me, going back to the High Kings, is a song called The Parting Glass. It's like an Irish folk song. I think Ed Sheeran has a cover of it that there's a one on Spotify of him performing that at Wembley, but that song just in general is great for me to just, because it's so simple of a song, but also like is sung so well. So like that's my kind of one main song. But do you have any specific ones, or is it kind of just, do you put on a certain playlist? Is there like a genre of music you play?
There's like a genre, I think, like the Lumineers are always like really good, because it has like some sort of, it's slow and soothing, but it also has like a little bit of like an upbeatness to it. I'm also gonna say, you might not like this, I love worship music for that reason as well, because it like helps you like instantly connect. Like it is saying these words out loud to you that you can't ignore, and like you're also feeling connected to God while also connected to like the feeling of the music as well. So that has been really helpful for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like, I still like if I hear a worship song come on, I still feel that. Like, I'm not necessarily believe in any specific thing, but it's more like the way the music's put together is very soothing. So I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah, I feel for me, I don't know if I necessarily have like one certain song that I go to. I guess probably like Taylor Swift, like any Taylor Swift song. And this makes me sound like such a basic white girl. And I swear, once we get more into it, like I listen to so much music, but like Taylor Swift, like she has been like my favorite artist since I've been like 6 years old. So like I pretty much like grew up alongside her. And so I feel like, you know, her early country albums, like her debut album and like
So
Fearless.
good.
Oh, I go back to those albums so many times, especially like when I'm like down. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back for that album, those two albums, just for,
Especially
like,
since she was kind of depressed in those
Yes,
eras. Like
yes.
you wouldn't think it, but like as you're going back to those
Yes.
eras, you're like, oh girl, what's going
I
through
know,
it?
like, releasing her first album at like 16 and
Yeah.
talking about like being an outsider and not having any friends, and I can relate to feeling like an outsider, so I feel like I often go back to those two albums like when I'm like, okay, I need calm, I need to like just be with her to like get back,
literally.
to be leveled out again.
And for anyone that is a Taylor Swift fan, at the end of this video, I'm giving them 10 minutes to just talk to me about Taylor Swift. So that was kind of my consolation at the end of this, because both of them are Swifties. So if I'm just giving you either a warning or stay to the end of the video for that, because that's going to be something that we talk about. All right, so now the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to go over our top 5 albums, and I think let's start with our top 5. Then we can all kind of rattle through some of our honorable mentions as well.
Yeah.
So who wants to get us started with? We're going to go 5,
I
5,
think-
5, and then so
I think
on.
I have the most basic options, so I'll start. So this is slightly embarrassing, but my number 5 on my top 5 of albums is Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone.
That is a great album.
I remember when this album came out, and we had the CD in my friend Madigan's car, and it was the summertime, and we played this album on repeat constantly. And it's a no-skip album. This is a fantastic
It's a great album, yeah.
And you have some hits from it. Like, obviously, Rockstar is probably Post Malone's, like, number 1 song. But then also pulling out, like, Zag and Codeine, Rich and Sad, Psycho, Sugar Wraith, like, Candy Paint. Fantastic album. And I love Post Malone. Not a huge fan of the country, but, like, this album is fantastic for me.
Yeah, I also am not a big fan of country Post Malone. My
but
big
I love
one.
country, so it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I love country too, and I'm not a huge fan of his country.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
I don't know. I do love that.
I feel
You
like
actually
he's a
got me.
cosplayer.
Yeah.
He's cosplaying.
Yeah,
country
you
artist.
actually got me into Post Malone, because
love
I
Post
used to not
Malone.
like him because I just didn't think I did.
Yeah.
Back when I was very close-minded about music.
Everything.
But I will say my favorite Post Malone album is Hollywood's Bleeding, personally.
That
But
is a
I
good
love
one.
Beer Bongs and Bentleys
But
too.
I think you also like a lot more rock. So
Yeah.
I think Hollywood's Bleeding is much more your style.
Yeah, and it's got Ozzy in it too.
Yeah.
I'll go next. My number 5. So I will say my aesthetic sometimes when it comes to music is very divorced dad rock. And I'm also like, I kind of teeter between that and like, I think a lot of the music I listen to is the music people give crap about being like the I'm 13, get out of my room, mom, like
Sure.
kind
I
of
love
like
that,
the kind of music. I think it gives off like people have this bad association with it of it's like people are pretending that they are mad about things when they listen to this.
But these
like
songs aren't like mad. They're not like angry, just even
Yeah.
though they sound that way. Like some of them are sad, some of them are hopeful. Like
well, okay, I'm when I get to 4, it's very that way. But my number 5 is very divorced dad rock because I am a big Breaking Benjamin fan. It's probably my second favorite artist or band of all time. Phobia is just the best album for Breaking Benjamin. It's like when they, in my opinion, when they hit their absolute stride. And it's so Diary of Jane's in it, Breath, Evil Angel, Unknown Soldier is my like most underrated Breaking Benjamin song of all. Had Enough is an amazing one in there too. Dance with the Devil's in there. Like there's, I would say 5 of my top like 7 or 8 Breaking Benjamin songs of all time are in that album. 2006, it's kind of when they just hit their stride in my opinion. I don't like Saturate quite as much. It's just a little too raw for me. So this is really when they hit their like, in my opinion, their perfect stride. And I'm so excited for the new album that they've said they've been working on for like 10 years now, it feels like. And they're finally coming out with it soon. So just a quick lore drop for you. Did you know the album art for this album is the fact that Benjamin Burnley, the leading singer of Breaking Benjamin, has a huge phobia of flying. And that's why like they very rarely do international tours. And that's why the cover art it's called
with
Phobia,
wings.
and it's him floating over a runway with wings. So
that's cool.
just a lore drop that not everyone knows about or cares about probably, but
I care.
that's my number 5 Breaking Benjamin, Phobia.
Okay, Morgan, let's hear your number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Imploding the Mirage by The Killers.
Oh,
So like,
I love The Killers.
everyone knows The Killers. Everyone knows Mr. Brightside. And like somebody told me like Hot Fuss came out in like 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And that album like just really like had skyrocketed their career.
Really quick, how do you feel about what was the newest album, The Man? Is that what it was titled? What was it called?
So that one is, I think, Run for Cover. And it has The Man on it. And that came out in like...
I weirdly liked that album because I thought it was like very nostalgic for them. Sorry, continue.
No, I love that album. But Imploding the Mirage is like, it's such a beautiful album. I actually saw them on tour for that album. I saw them in 2022 for the first time ever, bawled like a baby.
Love The Killers.
And, you know, like, everyone knows Mr. Brightside. And so, like, I feel like with a lot of artists, like, you know, like with Taylor Swift, everyone knows Shake It Off, you know, and like Breaking Benjamin, everyone knows, what is it?
Diary
of Jane. You know, like, so you have these artists that everyone, and like, I have to do a deeper dive. So like when I was like, was in love with Mr. Brightside when I was in middle school, and I'm like, okay, like, let me go through all of their albums. So like if I like an artist, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna go through all of their albums. And so
I literally did the same thing. I would save their like whole discography, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen from top, like start to bottom.
And so I did that with The Killers when I was like in middle school, and I fell in love with them. And then Imploding Mirage came out in 2020, and they went a very different way because a lot of their stuff is like rock, more indie rock, and this was more of like a pop indie, like, because then they came out with their album Pressure Machine, which was very folk. And I just think it's so neat to see them like go through these different genres instead of just sticking with one.
Yeah.
So I think Imploding the Mirage is special to me just because I got to see them on tour for that album too. Like that was cool.
Yeah, I have to say I really love when more rock based bands go pop because you see people be like, wait, they actually are cooking with these lyrics. They actually like the musicality's there.
And they have been
even
the
when people
whole time.
I understand rock can be very polarizing with the voices. Like if you don't like the voice, I'm not going to blame you for that. But I like when people are noticing, oh my gosh, like I'm going to talk about Shinedown later just as a teaser, but like they've been going really pop, and I love that people are like, this is an amazing song, and they really know what they're doing here. So I really like that.
Another controversial one, just because it's basic, Journey's Greatest Hits, as you'll see behind me. Oh, the other side. Here we go.
But it's basic for a reason.
It's so good. Like, hearing all of their best hits in one album brings about all the emotions that you get from listening to Journey, and I love it. It's so nostalgic. I think back to when we got to see them live twice, outside at Target Field, on the floor.
That was amazing.
Both times. It was genuinely one of the best experiences of my life.
And to be fair, that was the new singer. But
true, but
I know people I know what you're gonna say. Yes. I just want to make sure people are not in the comments saying, that wasn't really the main guy. But we know that. But just to be clear,
it still evokes the same emotions.
Absolutely.
And like Journey is just.
I mean, my mom had seen Queen like a couple of years ago with Adam Lambert. You know, like. Obviously, no one can replace Freddie Mercury. He's phenomenal. But, like, just, like, the emotion of being like, oh, my gosh, I get to see Queen, even though...
And I love, like, these biopics that are coming out because I love to hear the stories of, like, what made the music and, like, what... Not that, like, what they're struggling with is good, but, like, we're all struggling, too. But, like, to see, like, how they could...
But they're just human, too.
Yeah, and that they could channel this into their music and everything and that whole process behind it. I love seeing that. So...
Yeah, Elton John came out with one recently. I think, like a documentary about him. And then also just obviously... I
thought you were talking about Rocket Man. I was like, everyone's seen Rocket Man.
Yeah, Rocket Man's great.
But yes, the documentary did just come out.
Absolutely, but that one's great too. I'll go into my next one. I was talking about how it's not all angry. My next one is Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. So I recently really got into Linkin Park again. Because I was kind of under that whole, like, you can't listen to Linkin Park because I'm 13 and this is deep. But then you go into it again, it's a very polarizing sound. I recognize that. And like, it's very in your face. It's very angry. Like, I don't even really always listen to this album when I'm angry. It's more just like, I love listening to this kind of music in the car, blasted as loud as it can go. But this is my favorite Linkin Park song. Honestly, a top 10 song for me of all time is Paper Cut by Linkin Park. And then it's got One Step Closer, Points of Authority. In the End, obviously, everyone knows that song. A Place for My Head is a very underrated one. like every single song. This is a non-skip album for someone like me who likes this kind of music. It's just it's a unforgettable album for me, and I will always come back to it, and it never gets old.
Can I bring up a unpopular opinion about Linkin Park?
Mm-hmm.
I loved them at this era, and I still love them at their One More Light era.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One More Light was my song.
I was so depressed during that era, so like that album was life changing for me.
Like that was like the height of my anxiety, and like One More Light, that song
literally. I can't even count the amount of times I've cried to that song.
And I don't even care if that's like, I don't care. Like that was my song. That was my song in high school.
It was a very kind of bittersweet, unfortunate thing of like him making this music that saved so many people.
But it couldn't save him.
Yeah, and it just
chills.
Rest in peace to Chester Bennington. Like whether you like his music or not, like absolutely. Honestly, The Hunting Party's my like I love that album too. I could put that up too because that was kind of like right when they crossed over. So there was still some more like raw music.
What year was that? Like 2014?
Yeah, that was 2014. But that's like The Final Masquerade is in that one. That's a really good song. Yeah, there's some really good. That's when they kind of went a little more synth with it, but that's a great album too. But yeah, the I almost forgot which one is mine. Hybrid Theory is my number 4. What's your number 4, Morgan?
My number 4 is A Date with the Everly Brothers by the Everly Brothers. It came out in 1960.
I was gonna say I'm not familiar.
Because I just have to be different, right? And so I discovered this album and the Everly Brothers when I was a junior in high school. I was playing the guitar and I was trying to find like other songs to play. And I came across this video of them singing Kathy's Clown, which is off this album. And when I tell you, I was insufferable with that song. I swear to God, like, I'm pretty sure my mom wanted to like kick me out of the house for it. That album like means so much to me. If you do not know who the Everly Brothers are, please, they are so underrated. They like were kind of the masterminds behind like harmonies and like harmonizing. Like they were Simon and Garfunkel before Simon and Garfunkel existed. And so I love that album with all my heart. I did the song Kathy's Clown from that album for like my final for choir. And I made my friends, like my poor friends, had to sit. We would listen to Kathy's Clown every single day at the lunch table. Like there's videos of me like just like singing this song at the lunch table. And like, lunch was, kind of like your time to talk with your friends, right?
Yeah.
Not me. I would put my earbuds in and I would be like,
you're like, this is my time.
Yeah, this is my time to listen to music. Do not talk to me. And so my friends would be trying to talk to me as I'm like listening to music. And I'm like, please do not talk to me. I'm like in the zone. But yeah, the Everly Brothers, underrated. That album, listen to it. I know it's super old, but old music's great. Trust me.
All right, number 3.
Okay, top 3.
Yep.
So this was the point that I was going to make before about Taylor Swift. When she started releasing Folklore and Evermore, people were like, oh my God, she's a lyrical genius. Hey, guess what? She's always been a lyrical genius. You've just been disguised by the pop version of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Folklore is my number 3 album. Love Folklore. It just evokes so much emotion and like even though it's more of like a softer album, there's so much power behind it.
It's a really sad album too. Like,
it's so sad. But like I don't know, like I still feel just like a hurt rage from this album, and I love that.
Mirrorball?
Yes, no, literally Illicit Affairs, Exile, My Tears Ricochet, and Mirrorball, like
those
fantastic.
Those are my songs as a person. Like Mirrorball, like I want to get I've never been a natural, all I do is try on my rib cage from Mirrorball, because like that song like is my anxiety song. Like it just invokes so much like, yes, that's how I feel. Like I will never be a natural
I think that
anything.
is probably one of the best, this is controversial, it's probably one of the best written albums
of all time.
It's so well done. If you don't even like Taylor Swift, just read the lyrics.
Yeah, like
just read the lyrics. Don't even listen to the song. Just read the lyrics.
Listen to her lyrics.
So powerful.
And I'm so sad. Like I just have so many albums. That one is in like my honorable mention. Like it almost made it. It almost made it. And I love that album.
And I picked it because it's, I think, her best album in my opinion. Even though it's not like, I have one more album in there that's more nostalgic for me, my favorite album from her. But this one, I think, is probably one of the best.
I will agree with that.
So,
absolutely.
Okay, Connor.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna go back again to Journey Greatest Hits because so we had a couple that were intersecting.
Hence why we have the.
I took one off because it was gonna be my number 5, and I decided to move it down to honorable mentions because I didn't want us to have 2 of the same. But we can't not have this because literally, like, this is
the
when we talk about
biggest
never
skip
skip.
Album. Yeah.
Like, this is the never skip. This is like I said, very rarely I will hear a greatest hits album and say, yeah, these are the best of their songs.
Yeah.
This really is like the best of their songs. I would argue Faithfully is a top 5 song of all time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just unbelievable. I will say my 2 least favorite songs from this album are the 2 that are talked about the most, which is
I agree. I
Don't
think,
Stop Believing and Any Way You Want It.
No, I agree. Every other song on there is the best.
Yeah.
Faithfully is probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheel in the Sky is super underrated. It's such a great song. Worlds
Ask
Apart.
for the Lonely is.
Yeah. Ask for the Lonely is amazing. Separate Ways is like probably the one that's the most mainstream that I also think is amazing. Like it intersects.
Girl Can't Help It.
Girl Can't Help It is probably the one that no one's heard of as much before. But man, is that an amazing song. Even like Be Good to Yourself is like, that's like an end of an 80s movie. Everyone's dancing at the end.
Is Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin'?
Yes.
That song just makes me think of, like,
whenever we put that album on the record player, I feel like we like turn it over and then we like kind of want to just turn it over again and start start all over. It's so good.
And shout out to my mom because she got me into Journey and she actually gave me the CD version of that Greatest Hits album to play the first time I started driving. So she got me into that album. But yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys, separate thought, do you guys ever just like miss CDs in your car?
Oh, yes.
I remember, I mean, no, but like I also like kind of, I guess I have the opportunity to just listen to an album straight through, but like I kind of miss the era of like
I am a
listening to a CD over and over and over again.
Firm believer of collecting physical media. I love my Spotify. I stream most of my music, but I am a firm believer in collecting physical media, especially music. CDs, absolutely. And I have like my top, like 10 CDs in my car yet that I will put in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think my car has a CD player.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, mine does, because, I'm old school like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with collecting like the physical media. It's just, I could never imagine going back to like, because for me, I'm a very like, ADHD type listener where like it has to be a really good song. Usually I will listen through the first chorus and most of the time I'll go to the next song. If it's one of my favorites, I will listen to it all the way through, but like that's the reason.
Sometimes I just want to like collect all of it. Like during one 30-minute car ride, I'm like, I'm going to listen to an hour's worth of music. I
will say like if I ever was like genuinely rich, I would just collect, like if I could collect it just for the sake of it and it wouldn't be too expensive, I would have so many records.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I know, I'm too poor.
Okay, Morgan, your third, I think?
Yes, my third one is Zach Bryan by Zach Bryan.
Yes.
That
album is so good.
That one and
wow, I'm surprised that we have such
very
similar top fives because I thought you were gonna be way more obscure.
No, see, and that's and the Great American Bar Scene. That album, like
and it's hard because he's such a controversial person.
Yes.
And I don't like him as a person, but his music is phenomenal.
So good. It is so sad.
Phenomenal.
Like, East Side of Sorrow off of the Zach Bryan album, I sobbed like a baby when I first heard that one. And then I like had randomly found him one day on Spotify and like fell in love with his music. And this album came out right when like I went through this breakup, ended an engagement, and like this album came out right after that whole thing went down, and we were on our way to Florida, and this album had just came out, and we were taking turns like listening to music, and it was my turn, and we listened to this album front to back, and like it's like a sore spot, but also like it's an album I keep going back to. And I saw him for the first time in 2024 in August. Begged my mom to go with me because she's not a huge fan of him, like personality wise and like music wise. Like she knows he's talented, but she's like, not for her. She's more of a Morgan Wallen fan, which hot take from me, hate Morgan Wallen. Like literally doo-doo caca, like It is so bad. It is
Coming
like,
to the person that would listen to literally anything.
yeah, anything but Morgan Wallen. Sorry, Mom, because you're probably going to watch this. I love you. But
honestly, the only 2 Morgan Wallen songs I like are the like weird rap ones he did.
yes.
Those are the only ones where I'm like,
Yes.
okay, I can kind of like bump to this, but
yeah. Yeah. So, and then I saw him again in Indianapolis in September of 25. Begged my mom again, and we drove the 5.5 hours to
That's
like
cool.
go and see him. So yeah, that album is like close to my heart.
Yeah. But I love the way that like we discover music, because I remember I discovered Zach Bryan through Casey Musgraves, who I discovered through Harry Styles.
Yes.
And like it
Like how it all comes together. Like
it's a beautiful.
yeah.
Oh,
I will say,
love
I
that.
remember this is kind of funny because like I basically wasted all of my data back when we had like limited data.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like when we were on our way to like a band thing, I was just listening. This is before I knew what Spotify or anything was. So I was listening to like the songs through the YouTube videos of the songs. And I was just kind of like listening. This was before I didn't know a single metal song. I thought I was just classic rock and roll. And I heard Red Cold River by Breaking Benjamin from their newest, you can call it their newest album, but it's from like 2018 at this point. But
They've been working for a
Yeah.
long time.
but it's crazy how it's just like I heard that song and I was instantly a fan
Yeah.
of metal, because it just like it's crazy how like you can be told that something's not good and you're just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I
But-
believe that like for a long time, like I like liked like 2000s like metal and
Mhm.
whatever, and then I didn't like more. I guess it's not metal, but like some more modern rock until you showed me Shinedown,
Yeah.
and then that like opened a whole door to like so many other bands,
hmm
and that was great.
But well, and I think it's so funny, like just how subjective music is and how different it is for
Mhm.
everyone. Because like I love Rob Zombie and like Blink
Yeah.
182. Like those are my
I love
2 like favorite band. Like, well, Blink 182 is like probably one of my favorite bands, and I, like I'll tell people this, and we'll be like,
Yeah.
it's trash. Like their lyrics make no sense, and I'm just like.
But it's so fun.
But it's so fun. It's
Yeah.
so fun to listen to, especially like Rob Zombie. Oh, love that man. And I like just was like on like the internet the other day, and people were like, "Oh, he's such a poser," and I was like, "Oh, like I didn't know that like he was controversial like that." People are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, he's like a fake like metal dude." Like he, I was like, I was like, "Oh, I love him,"
Yeah.
And so I just think it's so neat how different music
It's
is
different
for
for everyone.
everyone.
I will, one last controversial opinion I'll share that can get people mad in the comments maybe. I am not a fan of a lot of the new metal that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like I can think of, not to name drop any particular band, but that's what I'm gonna do. But like
But I'm gonna do it anyways.
the I Prevail sound
Ooh.
is just every single new metal band out there, like extremely, in my opinion, extremely overproduced. It's all like, it's like mixed with pop and metal in a way that isn't the way
Bring
it
me
should
back
be.
to where like you just have to be the most insane guitar and drum like
Yes.
player ever to like make good metal music.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like the only like really good heavy metal band out there that's doing it right now is Bad Omens.
Oh, they are awesome. Yeah.
I am obsessed with Bad Omens. They are like one of the newer like heavy, because if I'm gonna listen to metal, I'm gonna listen metal from the 90s. Like I'm gonna
Mhm.
listen to Korn,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna listen to
And I think I'm much more of like a pop metal person.
like
I think
Disturbed, Slipknot.
metalcore, I think, is the term they use for metal that isn't screamo, and it
Yeah.
also isn't like new age metal.
Yeah.
Metal,
Right,
like
metalcore.
Breaking Benjamin's metalcore. Like
Yeah.
it's very like,
Or like you don't like this, you already know what I'm gonna say. But I think my favorite true rock band is Motley Crue.
yeah.
Oh,
I know you like
love
Motley
Motley
Crue.
Crue. Motley Crue.
I love Motley Crue. Their music is just so good. It gets you. That's what I think of when I think of rock. Like
That's the thumbnail. What you just did, that's the thumbnail.
I want to go back to the 80s for
I-
a day to be a
groupie. I've
For-
said this
Oh!
so many times. I've said
Nikki
this
Sixx, I
before,
love you.
and you've literally been like, "What are you talking about?" I just want to be a groupie for one day.
For one day.
For one day. The amount of times I've watched The Dirt.
Mm.
My number 2 is Diamonds by Elton John, which is his greatest hits album.
Yeah.
Behind us is the 2017 version. This isn't actually my favorite. The original like 3 CD set is my favorite, and I had that set, and that is like when I truly fell in love with Elton John, because I knew like the hits before that, which is why I got the Greatest Hits album. But that's when I started falling in love with, you know, the not like it's obviously not deeper cut because it's on his Greatest Hits, but like hearing Daniel and Island Girl and Philadelphia Freedom for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I need to dive deeper because I love Elton John. So that like really introduced me to my love for Elton John. And it's like 3 CDs. You literally get the whole Elton John experience. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me are probably in my top 15 at least. But yeah, Elton John is just classic. Again,
So
if you haven't watched Rocket Man, like there's a lot of movies out there that are like the artist will come out and say, yeah, like this doesn't really tell the full story. Elton John worked with them on the project. Like
so
it's probably the most like accurate, most likely movie to come out of someone's life. And it
wasn't a documentary.
It does it. Yeah, it's not a documentary, but it does it in such a cool way too, because it's almost like it's just musical enough where they do musical bits.
But I remember that was controversial when it came out. Like everyone was like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize this was going to be like a musical number."
But it really
But
wasn't.
I loved that about it. Well, Saturday, like when they did Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, I loved that they turned his life into like that's how he used music. Is that he like turned his life into fun things with music, and I think
and then like the part where he jumps into the pool and they pull the parallel of him singing as a kid. It's kind of like they get me back to that point. Like so, yeah, make sure you watch that movie. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so with Gwen and Morgan talking about how Taylor Swift gets the reputation of being like the like stereotypical. This is like the rock stereotypical because I do have Back in Black by AC/DC. Like I had to have at least
album though.
I had to have one classic one, but like all the way through Hell's Bells, Shoot to Thrill, What Do You Do for Money, Giving the Dog a Bone, Back in Black, obviously. It's one of the ones where it's like, yeah, that's the obvious one, but I also do love it every time. Have a Drink on Me is a great one. Like Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution is an amazing one too. I just tried to use that as a clue.
You also didn't say it right. You just went rock and roll ain't, and I was like,
yeah, but the clue was noise though, so I could have said blank. Also, I was giving that clue to Levi, who doesn't know AC/DC. But anyway, yeah, Back in Black is a classic one. It's the first one. I feel like it's kind of doing a disservice to Bon Scott by saying that's my favorite one, because that was the first one after Brian Johnson took over. But obviously, there's great ones before. It's one of those where it's like they did such a great job of replacing Bon Scott, where they had a whole career after his death. But yeah, it was the first one they had to, and also this was like the tribute album to Bon Scott. Like they made this entire album as a tribute to him. I actually read the Brian Johnson book that he wrote. That's an amazing book if you like rock music and talks about his whole life. But yeah, AC/DC Back in Black is just a classic.
Speaking of that, because we've been talking about Elton John so much, another great biography is Me, Elton John. That book was so good. That book was really good.
My second top 5 album of all time is Johnny Cash's 16 Biggest Hits. This album, like, honestly was like the gateway into like my love of music and like why I branched out on like all kinds of different genres. My dad was obsessed with Johnny Cash when I was growing up, and this was like the only album in his truck that he would play. Like it was on repeat. Like I honestly cannot tell you a single time that I don't remember that CD being on up until I was 12.
Yeah.
And so it's like such a basic album because, you know, it has like I Walk the Line and, you know, Ring of Fire and Folsom Prison Blues, but it also has a little of his deeper cuts. Like there's an 8-minute song of The Legend of John Henry's Hammer, and like no one knows that song. I'll be like talking about it and they're like, what are you talking about? And like, you know, the Ballad of Ira Hayes and Daddy Sang Bass. And this album, like honestly, is who I am today. Like my love for Johnny Cash, I can like thank my dad for that. Like he is my second favorite artist of all time. And like I could do an entire like thesis on Johnny Cash. So like watch his film Walk the Line.
That was really good.
That is my favorite film of all time. And like people make fun of me all the time because they're like, of course your favorite film is, a film that's like a biographical on a musician, but favorite film of all time, any of his like biographies are great. He wrote one, I think called Man in Black back in like the late 70s. Read that one. That's great. But this album honestly really shaped who I am. And just a quick little story. I know like I just keep rambling, but like I remember being in 8th grade. We were going to have our like 8th grade dance. And I was often made fun of by like my peers because, I was obsessed with Johnny Cash. I was obsessed with all these old country singers. And like I said, I'm going to ask the DJ to play like Ring of Fire. Mm-hmm. And they were like, absolutely not. Like they were like, they like threatened me. They were like, we will like kick you out of the dance. Like if you request like any old country music. And I was like, devastated. But like Johnny Cash really like, yeah, I feel like he's kind of really shaped me into who I am today. Like him and Taylor Swift are the greatest of all time.
Yeah. In elementary school, I did a project on Johnny Cash, and I remember bringing in a tape recorder of like Johnny Cash. I had a tape of Johnny Cash that I brought in that I played, and I was like, here's all the history about Johnny Cash, and everyone was like, who the is Johnny Cash? Sorry, let me say that again.
I think we can honestly shake it up a little bit, leave people waiting, and we'll give our honorable mentions now.
I'm just going to run through really quick. 21 by Adele, no skips. Speak Now Taylor Swift is my favorite Taylor Swift album. Like I said earlier, I think Folklore is better lyric-wise. Rumors, Fleetwood Mac.
That was gonna be one of mine. Yeah.
Most basic album ever. Deserves the hype. It deserves the hype.
Yeah.
Blue Neighborhood, Troye Sivan, before he went... I know. Before he went super pop, Blue Neighborhood changed my life. And then Currents by Tame Impala, because...
Yeah. I will say... We're not going to talk about all of it. Look into the lore behind Rumors if you don't know it, because that's so
insane.
It's so interesting.
It's
but
so good.
We won't talk about it here, but
I want to see that biopic. Mm-hmm. I want to see that biopic.
Get Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham in a room, please. Like I just one more time.
Okay.
I have more bands and their like discography more than specific albums. We'll say the Foo Fighters is very underrated. I got into them a little more recently.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah, Foo Fighters. But their album Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace is a great one. That's got Monkey Wrench in it, I think, but it has The Pretender, which is one of my favorite songs. That's a really good one. I'll give kind of a shout out to NF because that's kind of a niche one. It's one that I think people don't give enough love to because he is a Christian rapper, but like he's not a Christian rapper. He just is Christian and he raps. And I think that's a big distinction because like I'm not a Christian, but I absolutely love him. Like he's one of those where it's like his lyricism and like what he writes is really impactful, whether you like the music or not. His, I would say The Search is my favorite album by him, or even Perception. His new Hope album is really good mix of like more mainstream pop stuff and his normal rapping, but he's really good. Obviously there's bands like Def Leppard and there's I feel like there's a lot of bands from back that time period where like I love all the bands, I just don't have the albums specifically. So like there's a lot of them. I love 80s stuff so much. But yeah, there's a lot of bands. I would say Metallica is up there where like I don't have any one specific album.
The first one is At Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash. So like he wrote Folsom Prison Blues in 1955. And then in 1968, he actually was like, yo, let me just like actually go to Folsom Prison and like cut an album there for the inmates. And I think that is so cool because then in like 1969, he went to San Quentin prison and did that as well. And like, it just really like shows how like personable he was. Like he was like, you know, like empathy. Like he's like, let me get down in there with you. You know, like I've been in your place. You know, he was in jail a handful of times for drugs and alcohol. And I just think that was so neat for a first artist to ever like cut an album in a prison. Yeah. And then I have Folklore by Taylor Swift. Like lyrically one of the best albums written of all time. Like, and I don't even care if that makes me like a basic B. Like I am a diehard for Taylor. And then The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift as well. That album also just so lyrically beautiful and powerful. Yeah. And I remember when it first came out, it got a lot of hate. Yeah. Because it was like too lyrically like profound. Like people were like she's just like just saying things. Like, she's not even like she's just saying all these long words that don't make sense. And I'm like, you're stupid. Like, read a book. Read a book. Comprehend. Get a dictionary. Fourth one, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. Actually, any Bruce Springsteen album, I think he's the boss for a reason. But I also feel like he's hella underrated, especially for like...
Well, I think he became underrated because he was overrated.
Yes, I do agree with that. And I feel like our generation, like...
Yeah, we underappreciate him.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm on fire and Dancing in the Dark. Like, okay, everyone, like, I'm on fire, I think really was like trending on social media. But I'm like, you need to do a deeper dive. Do a deeper dive in Bruce Springsteen. Songs from a Ghost Town by Trampled by Turtles.
Yes.
Oh, that album, I love, like, folk,
I'm so surprised that our albums are so similar.
I know. We're the same person.
I thought we were going to have completely different albums.
And Trampled by Turtles, I saw them last year with my mom for the first time. Oh, I could talk about them all day. My last album is Girl Talk by Leslie Gore. Leslie Gore was an artist from the 60s, and she was actually a lesbian. And so, fun fact, she, like, all of her albums were about men, obviously, because back then you couldn't be out.
You couldn't be, yeah.
And she came out in, like, 2005 and, like, married her partner when it was, like, legalized. And I just think that was so cool. Like, her song, You Don't Own Me. What a feminist empowerment song for women. If you do not know You Don't Own Me, song, please listen to that song. I didn't
know who that was. That's cool to know. I didn't know the lore.
So Leslie Gore, love her, listen to her. She's an iconic lesbian for the LGBTQ plus community. Listen to her. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, and I mean Elton John did that for a while too. Like his first couple albums were a lot of kind of just the forced closeted kind of music he put out, and like it doesn't take away from
like married a woman and like just to
And it doesn't take away from how good those albums were, but it's it's a good like through the discography. You see that throughout his life. Obviously, I would be remiss if I didn't also recognize that a lot of people are going to be mad at me to choose Hybrid Theory over Meteora, so I should clear the air on that. So many people say it's Meteora. Obviously, I'd say all of the Breaking Benjamin and Linkin Park ones, I could do honorable mentions for all the albums. I'm not going to do all of that, but those are all amazing albums. But
I'm trying to guess now. I'd love to like take a guess at what each of your number one albums are, because I think I might know.
Okay.
Do you want to go out of order and do that first then?
Yeah,
sure.
Let's do that.
Okay.
I think yours is going to be Amaryllis by Shinedown. Fantastic. Yours is definitely Taylor Swift, but I'm trying to figure out which album it is. I think it's going to be Fearless, because you had Folklore as your honorable mention, and Fearless is your favorite album. Okay, fantastic. So I know everyone so well. Mine is kind of obvious, though, too. You guys could definitely guess what mine is. My number one is Battle at Garden's Gate by Greta Van Fleet. They truly changed my life. When I discovered them, it was life-changing. I definitely heard, like, Light My Love at first, like, very basic. And then getting into the full album of Battles at Garden's Gate and going back to, like, their very first, like, EPs and stuff like that. Oh, my God. And this is truly, like you were saying earlier, like, this is where they got their stride. Like, they weren't sounding like a cover band anymore. They weren't like, oh, whatever, this is just a cover band. Like, this is when they created their sound. And I love when they created Meeting the Master as well. But I loved the imagery and the sound that Battle at Garden's Gate had. I don't think a song or like an album will ever top the combination of like Stardust Chords, Light My Love. What did I put on here? Oh, The Barbarians, but it autocorrected to Teresa, and I was like, who the hell is Teresa? No, but it's my favorite no skip album. It's amazing. And then I also have from Flower Power by Greta Van Fleet, I have Day by Day Our Love Grows. So that one's fun. And I put that in my vows too. So
yeah. I would say Shinedown for me is my favorite band of all time. It's kind of it's not like a necessarily a not well-known band. It's just I don't think it's one that a lot of people would put as their favorite. But like there's very few bands where I would be like, I want to go to every single one of their tours that comes around.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've already been to 2 in the last like 5 years for them. I was gonna go to another one, but I don't know. You can only spend so much money.
And have so much time.
But for the Shinedown fans, I'm gonna do a very quick run through of ranking the 7 albums because I think that's interesting. I will admit, their most recent 2 are my least favorite. But it's only because when a band's as good as you feel like they are, it's really hard standard to hold on to. They are actually putting out a brand new album in, I think, 2 months. So I'm excited for that one. But Planet Zero is probably bottom for me. And then Attention. I'd go down to, honestly, Leave a Whisper after that. That's going to be controversial. That was their very first one. It felt...
They were still finding themselves, though, so I think
and
that's
also,
fair.
Another lore drop for you for Shinedown. A lot of their very first album, Brent Smith was working at a radio station and would use the tape that was left over to craft the album. So he
that's cool.
made it completely from scratch in that way.
Use your resources.
But then after that, I'd probably go with Us and Them, which is the second one. Because I really think the stride was Sound of Madness, Amaryllis, and Threat to Survival. People hate Threat to Survival.
Well, I love Threat to Survival.
I think it's just like, that's when people thought they were getting too mainstream, and it was a lot more like produced, a lot more of like an electronic feel
I think
to
they just
it.
had more resources.
But like Threat to Survival has Cut the Cord, State of My Head, How Did You Love is a really good song for me. That if I had a tattoo that had lyrics, it would probably be that. But that's another great one. But anyway,
Amaryllis is the best.
Amaryllis,
though,
in
100%.
my opinion, is the best. Right behind Sound of Madness. That's going to be another. Yeah, Sound of Madness one is going to be controversial, but Amaryllis, I mean, Bully is the first one I ever heard, and it's probably the most well-known one. I actually heard it when we were playing it in pep band, and I was like, that's a really cool song, and that's how I got down the whole rabbit hole. But like, Enemies is in there. Obviously, Amaryllis, Adrenaline, Unity. I mean, Nowhere Kids is a very underrated Shinedown song. I'll Follow You, actually. The piano version of that song was played for, not when Gwen walked down, but like when the rest of us walked down. That song is played on the piano. And then, absolutely, Shinedown, Amaryllis is my favorite album of all time. How about you, Morgan?
Okay.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. My favorite album of all time is 1989. Fearless was my favorite album growing up, and then I do have my Fearless tattoo and Taylor Swift's handwriting on my wrist. But 1989 is the pop Bible. Like, you look up the definition of pop, and it's 1989. And
that was such a crazy era, too.
It was.
Because I remember when she... Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Like, obviously, like, growing up, I would say country music probably was, like, my favorite genre when I was growing up. And so, like, obviously, I was obsessed that Taylor Swift was country. And then she made this transition into pop. And I have to admit this because my mom will never let me live it down. So when Shake It Off came out and, like, she was talking about this album, I was livid. I was a Taylor Swift hater for, like, 6 months.
Okay, what's crazy is that I was, too.
Yes.
When 1989 came out, I, like, didn't listen to it for a while because I was like, no, I'm mad.
See, and I listened to the album when it came out, but like because I think she had released like Shake It Off like a couple of months before the album was released. So for those months, I was just like, okay, I'm done with Taylor Swift. Like, I will not listen to any of her other music. Like, I'm just going to stick with her country ones. And then I heard Shake It Off, and I was like, whoa, this is actually a banger. But I was like, still like, I don't like her. Like, like I was just trying to be like, I'm done with her. And then all of a sudden, like, the album came out, and like, my aunt got it for me, and I like obsessed, literally cried. And then she was going on tour, and my English teacher was like, oh, like Taylor Swift's gonna be like in Minnesota. And I was like, what? I saw her for the first time on the 1989 tour. Really, yeah.
I saw her for her like Taylor Swift Fearless tour and then her Speak Now tour.
Oh, and I'm so jealous, and I so wish like.
But I didn't see 1989 or Reputation. And I would have loved to see that. And you saw the Eras tour.
And I saw the Eras tour, yeah. I saw her in the 1989 tour, Reputation, and Eras. And so, like, I remember I was, like, 14 years old, or maybe I was 13 when I saw her on the 1989 tour. sobbed like a baby. Like, as soon as she walked out, I literally, like, I think my mom has a video of me just, like, I'm just, like, hyperventilating. I'm like, oh, my gosh, she's, like, in the flesh. And I think 1989 will always just be that album for me. Like, it really... Because I also thought it was so neat how she, like, transitioned from country into pop so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And as a little girl, I was like, that's so empowering. Like, okay, you know, women really can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can do whatever I want. Like, she literally did not care what anyone said. She's like, okay, you know, I've been country for the last, like, almost, you know, 8 years. I'm going to go be pop now.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Folklore came out, I mean, that was more folk, right? That was really not pop.
She can do it all.
You know?
And, like, some of the songs on Reputation, like, she did a lot more, like...
I did a lot more, you know, I mean, like, Endgame, you know, was a little more, like, rappy. And so was, like, Ready for It, you know? And then, I mean... Lover, when Lover came out, you know, that was a little more...
Like soft pop.
You know, a little bit of jazz in there.
Yeah.
Like,
I so wished that Life of a Showgirl was going to be more like Lover.
Yes. Me too.
Kind of my biggest disappointment in an album.
Unfortunately, me too. But anyways, yes, 1989 is that girl, has been that girl. That album
will always be that girl.
Will always be that girl. She was born pretty, she's been pretty, and she stays pretty. 1989 has been my album since it came out. And I fear that will never change. Like, actually, I don't fear. It is that album. It is that pop album.
I don't even think you need to give us our 10 minutes anymore. I think we've built our 10 minutes into this hour.
Well,
so
yeah, I think we can still do 5. I think we can still, because
I don't know what else I have left.
Well, Morgan, I knew Morgan was gonna give me like the actual like lore, because I feel like
oh my gosh, she has great lore.
I'm gonna give you.
Okay.
We're starting.
Give her 2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Speed run.
Okay. So Taylor Swift, that woman.
I'll give you the time.
She was like 16 when her first album came out, and she literally wrote almost every single song on that album at like 16 years old.
In her bedroom. And then she was going out. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
She was going out, passing out these CDs to just anyone, and was like doing like national anthems at sporting events and just doing literally anything she could to get her name out there.
I feel like she gets so much hate because people they think she just got this handed to her.
She is a businesswoman.
Worked her ass off.
Yeah.
Like, literally 13 years old, promoting herself, like, obviously with the help of her parents, you know, and I think she has wonderful parents because they up and, like, moved her to Nashville when she was, like, a teen. So that, like, it's just so mind-blowing to be, like, 16 years old, come out with your first album, and just, like, really dominate, and then continue to dominate as you're in your 30s.
Well, and touring right away, like, oh my God, why am I blanking? Tim McGraw, touring with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, touring right away, and then starting her new... Yes, and then having Kelly Pickler open for her on her first tour. Insane.
And then I remember, like, when Ed Sheeran, like, opened up for her for the Red tour.
Yes!
I was like, which, Red album,
that is a good album.
She'll always be that girl, too. Like, All Too Well. The 10-minute version, if you have not listened to that, please. That is, like...
That's the song I like to play in the bar to clear it out so that I can sing about myself.
That is the Taylor Swift song. All Too Well, the 10-minute version specifically.
You have 40 seconds.
I don't know. I just love her. I will always love her, and I don't care how overrated people think she is, and, like, I don't care how basic that makes me. I think she really is the one out here doing the most.
Yeah.
I mean, working the hardest. And she's so kind. She's so down to earth and genuine, too.
She's been like you said, we've grown up with her. She's been the best role model for us as girls, as a woman in this huge male-dominated industry. She's grown with the industry, beat them every time, has become on top and kind to everyone that works with her.
I mean...
She is an example to everyone.
Be like Taylor Swift. Like, I remember being 6 years old, and I'm 24, and I'm still as in love with her as I was at 6 years old.
Well, and she remains relevant and continues to talk about, like, what is happening in our lives.
She's such a chameleon. Like, she knows how to, like, change with the times, and
But still be true to herself. So, I love her.
I should say, hold on, I'm gonna let you finish.
That was it. We're done.
Mic drop.
I should specify, I am not, like, a Taylor Swift hater. Like, I don't like Taylor Swift for the sheer version of like it's not my cup of tea. Like I don't dislike Taylor Swift. It's just her music. It's not my cup of tea. Like there was a time when I was one of the normie, like when I was like a teenager and like going into college, I was kind of swept into that whole like Taylor Swift sucks kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely respect like the grind. I respect the like the fact that she has always done what she felt was right for her to do. I love the whole thing about, because you could talk about the whole lore of her getting screwed out of her albums, getting them back, like all the different things she had to go through in that way.
I will say
so,
that
like,
is one of the coolest things ever. That she went and like re-recorded her albums. Like she was honestly a big F you. Like I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
And during all of this, she was also going through the whole feud of her being like a snake and everything.
Yes, and then her breakup with like Joe Alwyn. You know, like that was
so
her longest
hardest time of her life, and she's like, no, I'm gonna take my music back.
So she's actually like, I'm gonna let you finish, but
yeah. So I know Taylor Swift. I know you're watching this right now. I know this is your favorite podcast. So like, I don't dislike you. It's just that kind of music is not always the kind of music I would listen to.
We stream enough basis, for everyone.
Yeah, I will say, people that are like blatant haters who
for no
never,
reason
like listen to her music. I will say this to you: you never know when you will need Taylor Swift until you need her. Like, especially for women. Like, I see a lot of women haters, a lot of like pick-me's, you know, like you know, like I'm raising my kid to be
they're just
so-and-so.
They're too afraid of women having success.
Exactly. You do not realize how much you need Taylor Swift until like you go through your first breakup, or you know, like you will need her at some point. So.
I would say two things specifically that we need to get rid of in music is one, writing people off before you give them a chance.
Absolutely.
And two, the kind of like all or nothing approach I feel like there is, where it's like if something isn't as good as something they used to make, it's trash. Like it's just such a wide spectrum.
And I'm like, a big believer of like separating the art from the artist, right? Unless you're like, you know, have done something like okay.
R. Kelly.
Yes, right? You know, Chris Brown, like that, disgusting.
That level.
But like Zach Bryan, like yes, he's like a questionable person. And like, do I necessarily like his personality? No. Am I in love with his music? Absolutely. Do I think that's like one of the most...
I would say the same thing about Elvis Presley.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a disgusting human. Sorry, not sorry. I do not like him as a person.
I hated the movies too, because I was like, why are we romanticizing Elvis Presley right now?
I hated the movie. Love
both
his
of
music.
them.
Love his music. I probably have most of his records. So...
Well, we became an official podcast the way podcasts used to be audio only there for a while. I apologize. It wasn't even the fact, because usually I will forget that this camera can only record continuously for 30 minutes, and that's why it usually cuts to black. But this time it was because we've been talking for so long. I put in a 64 gigabyte SD card because I thought we were fine.
And we said, let's fill it up.
And it's 4K footage, but still, we went through like 60 gigabytes worth of footage. But sorry about that. Hopefully most of the top 5 album parts, looks like we got like 15 minutes of that last 30. So hopefully...
You just missed our entire Taylor Swift rant.
But like the audio's still there. So you'll be able to at least still listen to it. So, I mean, that's what podcasts were for the longest time. So sorry about that.
Go back to the basics.
But... it was a great episode still. I'd like to thank both Gwen and Morgan for being here. Our first, obviously, Gwen was my first guest, but the first out-of-house guest that we had, I'm going to bring a couple other people. I'm going to bring Sam on in, I think, early May. We're going to talk about video games. We're going to, at that point, At that point, the Mario Galaxy movie will be out, so I'm sure I'll talk to him about that. But we got a lot of great episodes coming up. I actually don't know what my next one's going to be yet, because I haven't scheduled out that yet. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and thank you both for being here for this one.
Yay! Keep listening to music.
I guess I should also give the because I skipped over, since it was a more serious video, I skipped over in my last video the song lyric of the Australian football one. I also assumed we wouldn't put lyrics into this one because we talked about so many anyway. But usually I do a hidden song lyric in my video, and the one that I did was I was talking about how I was excited to like watch the new sport that I was getting into, and I said that I was staring at the blank page before me. So that was the song lyric hidden
Nice.
from Unwritten.
Hey, we're gonna get demonetized.
Unfortunately, no one guessed that, but in the next video there will be another one. But again, we talked about so many lyrics that there was no point in doing a hidden one in this one.
So I want to hear your top 5 albums in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get the whole dialogue going. Obviously, it's just important as always to remember, even the things we talked about in this episode, everything is so subjective. So like, talk about your favorite albums in the comments, and you can also talk about why you like or dislike them, but just please don't act like because someone likes an album that you don't, that's like
they're wrong,
or that they're just like, it's a subjective thing. There's nothing objective about music. So make sure that you stay respectful, but again, in the comments, make sure that you put your favorite albums, favorite songs, talk about your favorite experiences with music. That dialogue's always great in the comments. But thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you on the flip side.